Being late, I had a meeting that went over with one of my players, and so forgive me. We're right in the middle of our last week. This is dead week going into finals. Finals start on Monday, so we have a lot of our players, all of our players, that are frantically trying to prepare for last papers that are due and finals that have yet to be taken. And it's a very stressful time when you're trying to get all that done and still prepare for big games. You know, we were obviously disappointed to come back with the 2 L's from New York. I thought we played much better against VCU after the initial start to that game, where we really started poorly offensively, taking some bad shots or forcing plays that turned into turnovers. And you know, and they're a good team. I got to give them credit. You know, this game coming up against Kansas is a huge challenge because they're a very, very good team. I think they've won 61 in a row. Is that correct at home? 63. That's a lot of wins in a row at home. Obviously, it's a great venue. They have unbelievable fan support. It's very loud. I actually played my last college game ever in the Allen Fieldhouse. We lost to Arkansas in the second round of the tournament. Back when they had a thing for a little while there where they're making their floors were, I'm trying to think what it was made of. It's like the one that Pepperdine had or used to have. It wasn't I forget what surface it was. It was really bad, but they've gone back to the hardwood now. So this is a big challenge. They're especially strong inside. Their 3 leading scorers are the Morris twins and then Thomas Robinson. So they really have a great scheme of getting them the ball and getting the ball in good scoring areas. One thing that's been really impressive is Marcus Morris's ability to shoot threes thus far. He's 6 for 11 at 54%, 6'9". I mean, that's impressive. And then his brother is getting, you know, almost 11 rebounds a game and really doing a good job on the defensive end. Watching their game against Arizona, Arizona is very talented, and you know, Arizona fell early in that game and then came back and tied it at 54, and then in the last 6 minutes of the game, Kansas was able to hold on in a neutral site game over in Vegas this past weekend. So this is going to be a big challenge. Questions? Yeah, you know, we came back Saturday and traveled and got back early, and then we met Sunday at 5 o'clock. And initially, I was going to have our team go through all our sets, 5-on-0, and then watch the film. But after watching the film and thinking about it, we went straight to a film session, and we watched our VCU game for 3 hours. So we really studied it, really tried to learn from it, really tried to understand, you know, all the mistakes that we've made. And, you know, for example, in their first 11 baskets that they made in that game, 8 of them were layups. I mean, right, layups, either follows layups or put in for layups. I mean, just too many easy shots to start that game and too many turnovers. And we, you know, my point was to them is, look, you know, we're playing very poorly, and yet here we are. It's a 1-point game, a 3-point game. We had a chance to go up 1 if we make 2 foul shots to start the second half and get some momentum. And they're a very good team. I mean, we can play so much better than that. You know, too many turnovers, 21 turnovers we're not going to beat anybody on our schedule with 21 turnovers on a consistent basis. So I would say it's all the above. It's our defense, it's our execution offensively, it's setting screens, it's making the effort to go every time to the offensive glass, it's understanding rotations and staying in front of the ball, it's taking care of the basketball. You know, it's a lot of things. Yeah, it's not ideal, especially travel-wise. You went on the trip, and you didn't have to practice and play, and it's still tiring. To go all the way back there, the time travel, the change is always difficult. I think Honeycutt told me he got back on Saturday and went to bed about 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon and woke up at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Guys were tired. And so, yeah, it's not easy, and this is, it is what it is. I mean, this is, what we have to do, so we'll turn around and do it. We leave tomorrow, I think 12:30, and, we'll get back Friday at 1:30. The team will get back.
How similar the slow starts in New York, to you?
Well, I thought that the first game against Villanova, we really had some defensive breakdowns. I thought that I made a bad decision the way we planned to guard them in that game, because their guards were so much the biggest key. We should have been more aggressive with our hedges than we were. But we just had breakdowns. I mean, the first play of the game, we missed a hedge that resulted in a layup. And then we went down. Reeves actually missed a pretty decent shot, and then that turned in. There was 8-0 before you knew it on a three-pointer, an and one, and a layup. The second game, I thought our poor start really was a big part of it. Was our offense being very impatient, shooting the ball quickly, and we really studied that. That we've got to be more patient. I mean, Honeycutt took a couple of those quick shots. I'm very clear, Tyler. We want him to be one of the guys that takes the most shots on this team, but it's just part of that's experience and understanding, letting the game come to you rather than hunting it down and trying to make it happen. You got to let some things happen and come to you, especially offensively.
How similar is Kansas to last year? You played them last year. You feel like you're familiar with them based on.
I mean, they were obviously really good last year. They were the #1 team, I think, going in the NCAA tournament, and had an unbelievable year. Aldridge and the left-handed kid were both first-round picks. What's his name? Lefty plays for. No, it's Xavier Henry, exactly. I mean, so you're talking about 3 guys that are in the NBA now off that team, and yet they're still loaded. So, yeah, they have a very, very good team. The Morris twins were a huge part of that last year. Tyshawn Taylor started last year. He's an excellent player. I was really impressed with Robinson a year ago, but they couldn't find a lot of time for him because they just had so much experience. So, these guys are very good, and where were they ranked? Where are they right now? They're 5, 6, 4. I mean, they're way up there, and rightfully so. Bill's done just a fantastic job with that program year in and year out, keeping them way up there in the country.
And you talked about the easy baskets against VCU. Are you concerned about, with your emphasis on transition, that you're losing a little on the defensive end?
No, you know what? We're not a very good defensive team right now, and I'm not sure that if we weren't trying to transition, that would be any different. I mean, we're really emphasizing it and talking about it, and a lot of it is, our youth. We're playing guys. When you look at, like, for example, our front line, Reeves and Brendan have the most experience, and they're sophomores. And Brendan hardly got to play that much last year, and I think he's done a terrific job up to this point in terms of his effort and intensity defensively. He's been our best defensive player on the front line, and I really have liked what Stover has done, but he's just a freshman, and then Josh is a freshman. Josh is learning things for the first time. So you really have a lot of guys that are young that are playing major roles, including in our backcourt. When you look at Zeke's I think done a very good job thus far, but he's made some key breakdowns that come with experience. At the end of the VCU game, he was helping when he didn't need to be helping. He was guarding Rodriguez, who hit a wide-open shot from the corner from 3, which was a huge basket. Same thing happened against Villanova when we had the game to a 6-point game. He lost outside of his guy, and the guy hit a shot in the corner. It's, you know, it's that experience of understanding, you know, just how intense and how detailed you have to be a good team defensively and not break down on your assignments.
Do you expect an up-tempo game from Kansas?
Oh yeah, that's how they play. They really look to push the ball in transition. Their early offense is very good, and they really do a great job of getting the ball inside. And I heard it was 14 below wind chill there yesterday. So for those of you making the trip, that should be exciting. John, do you get to go on this one? Okay. This one you might not miss, just in terms of the weather anyway. We know Ryan Finney's happy. He's getting going home to the homeland, and so that's a positive. Back to the farm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's learning how to play harder and do it, and really it's a pride thing. I mean, when you go back and like one of the things I did after we watched that film for 2 hours and 40 minutes, I talked to our team, and I was talking to them obviously the whole time during the film, but I wanted them to see what really good defense looks like, and so I actually had Jason Ludwig, my video coordinator, pull about 15 or 20 clips from teams past. You know, showing them how they head screens or how they double the post or, you know, how they extend screens and bump curls. You know, we had all these great edits of, you know, former teams. And just, you know, yeah, they're doing the same things I'm asking them to do, and they did it great. I mean, Bahamute, when you go back and think about, you know, some of the guys we've had here, I mean, you know, a great defensive team and a great defensive player takes things personally. I mean, it used to kill Aaron Aflalo when someone scored. You know, it really bothered him, and it bothered him in a way where it would make him even play harder the next time. And you know, same thing with Luke, same thing with Russell, you know, same thing with Darren. I mean, you know, really a great sense of pride, and therefore that makes you dig in hard and really exert the effort that it takes to be great defensively, because it's the little things. And there were times, like I thought, for example, late in the game, watching the film, again and again, I saw it 3 or 4 times, is that I thought Reeves had some really good defensive possessions against scheme. And even on a couple of them, the guy still scored. The guy's a really good player. But I was really pleased with his effort because of where, you know, he started out a year ago. You know, really not knowing much about or ever being asked and expected to play great defense. Yeah, I do, and we've just got to make it more of a, you know, it's going to be more and more of a thing where, you know, you can control your effort defensively, and so if you're making mistakes there because of lack of effort, then we need to make subs. You know, Tyler Lamb, I think, is going to be a very good defender. He's got to do a better job of not trying to force things offensively. Like, you know, he came into the VCU game, he had 3 turnovers in the first half that were really, really, you know, big plays in terms of we were right there with him. And there's turnover. We missed he missed a block out. Someone else missed a block out that allowed them to come in and get layups. Our blockouts are very, very poor. And that was a point of emphasis yesterday and will be again today. We got to block out better. That's being physical. Yeah, it's an effort thing. It's a mental thing.
Some of the players you mentioned, it seemed like they came into your program with kind of that defensive pride already there. Is it something you can teach?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I thought Kevin became a much better defender. I don't think Lorenzo Mata was a very good defensive player, and he wasn't as a freshman. I mean, it was something that he learned and pushed himself. Like I think that Malcolm really takes pride in his defense. I think Zeke's a very good on-ball defender in terms of staying in front of the ball and stopping the ball in transition. He's done a good job that way. I think that both Stover and Brendan Lane have done excellent jobs defensively for us. You know, Stover probably tries to go to block too many shots, it takes him out of position when he doesn't get the block. But he's being active. He is really working hard. He's got to play more minutes than he's playing. I need to utilize him more because he brings an energy and a passion, and he really has done a nice job. I've been really pleased with him. He's playing 9 minutes a game right now.
How about Nelson and Honeycutt?
They've got to get better defensively in both of them.
Coach, what about Matt Carlino? Is he available?
Yeah, he's practiced the last 2 days, and so he's getting back into things now. Really, I didn't use him in New York because he had one practice in 2 weeks. So in terms of really, conditioning wise, when we came back Saturday, he shot, around and did some conditioning. And same thing on Sunday after we watched film. He got out there and did some of that, which was good for him because, he hadn't done anything in quite a while. So the last 2 days, or actually yesterday being the first day, he got out there, and hopefully he'll have 2 good more practices here going into Kansas.
Would this be a tough game for him to make his debut in?
Yeah.
What does Josh Smith need to do to reduce his fouling?
You know what? We just talked about that earlier today, and he has a habit of reaching, and he's got to play with his feet, and some of it just he's got to get in better condition so he doesn't become tired or play fatigued at all. But and he had some bad calls go against him. And I told him, I've made it very clear to him that hey, the biggest guy always gets seemed to be singled out and gets the most calls against him. He had a terrible call in the Villanova game where he was clearly there for a charge. The guy ran him right over. It was a horrible call. We got a couple bad calls in that game late. Another one was Malcolm blocked a shot, and they called a late whistle and called a foul. I was really disappointed in a couple of the calls that went against us. But Josh has had more than his fair share. And then they don't never, it's sometimes like we had one film, in the film, and I showed it to the team. There was one time against VCU where he's in there to rebound, and there's a player from VCU, a guard, that actually has both his arms wrapped around Josh like this. And he's actually grabbing him into a bear hug, and then the shot goes off the rim, and he releases and gets the ball. And it's like, it's right there. And so, I'm explaining to Josh, you can't allow guys to do that. If they're going to do that, you got to get them off you. He literally, I can show it to you on the film, guy has got his arms wrapped around him in a bear hug. But they, Shaq learned, all these big guys learned that they allow the big guys to get beat up sometimes.
With fewer fouls, his minutes would have...
Yeah, he's averaging a foul every 4 minutes he plays right now. He's got 20 fouls in 80 minutes of play, 16 minutes a game. So, we need him. And we need to do a better job getting him the ball offensively, which I thought we did as a focus yesterday in practice, and it helped us. Yesterday, because he's a very good passer. Not only can he score down low and is a problem to match up with, he's an outstanding passer for a kid with his size. I really like his ability to pass the ball. So he's got to get more touches. And part of that, too, is him doing a better job sealing and really getting low and big and really demanding the ball. And demanding the ball in a way where it's not a selfish thing. No, there's not one kid on our team that would say, oh, yeah, Josh is selfish. He wants to shoot it every time. He's extremely unselfish. We got to play through him more. We have an opportunity to do that. And it took us a while to figure that out, even when we had the likes of Kevin Love here. It wasn't, it's something that teams got to learn and get better at. And we had an experienced team at that time.
This is the last year of the Pac-10, Big 12 Hardwood Series. Are you happy to see that go?
Yeah, UCLA doesn't need any kind of scheduling gimmicks to help us get games against good people. People want to play us. It's helped some of the other people in our league be able to get, BCS type opponents to play them in a home and home. It's not something that we need help with.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.